I don't know, Romeo 1d6. Okay.
This is better than burning the camp.
You now have ownership over Delta Squadron. As rolling that natural 20, you might as well have just number 57, aka a commander you were actually going to meet, just disappeared off the face of the earth, as you're now that commander. Great. I now have to
What if, they go to try to save the noble lives, and, people just oh no, you're not the commander, what the fuck's wrong with you?
I know.
As far as, up the lie.
As far as they're concerned, this is now the new 57, and 57's life now belongs to you. I will be sending you I will send you everything you just inherited, as this person is now erased from history.
They don't have to be. They could come to the camp and be like, the fuck is going on?
As far as you're concerned, you just erased this person from history and you just took that spot.
Fantastic. I put my hands on my hips and I'm like, right, well, I'm going to join with my new companions and meet them. Walk over to Evelyn.
Got it. And as you're walking away, you hear Artax. Wasn't number 57 a guy before?
Medicine has really made some leaps.
You just kind of hear an audible shrug come from Cascade. Alright then. Today's just been weird as all hell. As both of them do go back into their tent. Okay, so now that that's over with, you guys were making your way to the purple, right?
Yes, we were.
You guys start off, and as stuff does come, you get about halfway there as nightfall does come up.
I do want to, along the way, hunt a little bit.
Okay. Give me a survival as you are walking around.
Oh, that wasn't supposed to be with advantage, so 17.
Okay, so, as you are walking off, everyone, you do see some odd behavior from Trox. As every once in a while, Trox will stop, look off into the side of the forest, and then rush off, and then come back with something like a deer or a wolf just kind of on his head.
Occasionally puts a hand up and just, tears off a chunk.
Yeah. I will say through this, you've gained about, I'd say, 2 raw deer and a wolf. So you got 2 deer and a wolf.
So I'm going to go ahead and eat the wolf, and I'm just going to put down the deer, so that way it's less smoke. Okay.
You guys get about halfway on the trail as on the pathway, as it's mostly just a small game path that the rest of the Ironforge did put you on, saying just follow this path, it'll lead you right there. Just be careful. And as you are walking by, you do see the deers or the rabbits just kind of dart off to the sides as you are walking it. You guys do get, like I said, about halfway there as night does start to fall.
Night's falling. Are we there yet, or?
Yeah, as night is falling, you get to just that you're about halfway there as you have been falling. So you're about, give me 1 second. You're about here-ish. You're not exactly there, but you're close.
Okay. I would like to use this.
What is that?
Basically I can find a spot where we're not going to be attacked by animals.
Okay, well that just negated that roll that he did before. So you do come off
everything.
No, that's fine. That's fine actually, because that was I can actually put that somewhere else. It's a little bit better. But that roll is still in existence, and you will happen across it eventually. As you are walking through the forest, Trox kind of lets out a little bit of a muffled groan as he kind of as he looks up at the sky and then looks over to the side. As he walks off into the into the forest, you do find a relatively comfortable spot. As you look around, you don't see any tracks around this area that could have been left by any animals. So that's pretty much it. Yeah, so you find a place to set up for tonight if you do wish to rest. And because of that roll, there doesn't really need to be a watch. You can have one if you want to, but you don't need need one.
I'll probably set up my turn, but probably all I'll do.
So set up a chart, yada yada. But yeah, as night does come a little closer, you are faced with sleeping if you do wish to, and then skip the night.
Yes, May does have tattoos on her. Well, it's on one arm, but yes.
As you do, as she does have a different. As you do look over her, the tattoos, where they would be, however, are covered up by a light metal material.
Okay.
Nothing too fancy, but actually, Trox, you do recognize some of this. Yeah, you can get a little bit of it. Hang on one second. Would you?
Posted a reference.
You can. That's not what I'm getting at. The armor does look familiar, Trox. Garun, it also does look familiar as well. The gauntlets, anyways.
Would I recognize the gauntlets?
Do you not remember where you got that armor from?
I do. I was just wondering if there was anything special about them.
Oh, you said that she didn't have gauntlets, as well as mentioned that.
She didn't have the gauntlets for the Iron Forge. She didn't have the gauntlets for the Iron Forge costume. However, her own armor does have gauntlets.
Oh, yeah, you're right, though.
I
have a helmet. I have a hood, though.
Yeah. But the armor that you do recognize, if you two do wish to give me a history check.
Now, quick philosophical question. Is Cahoon the path to freedom for Trox because he saved him?
Yes.
But no, that's not.
Okay.
Yeah, like inside checks. Please.
Don't travel.
Oh wait,
history
that's history.
History check.
Okay.
Yeah, no, history. That's it. Garun, do you want to roll me a history check as well?
Sure.
All right.
Shit.
Trox can't place it. Just odd. That's it. You remember them from somewhere, you just can't remember where. Groom, you do you can kind of just barely remember the glint of blue and gold from when you were on your scouting mission before.
Wait a fucking minute.
But it's strange as you don't see those other. You don't see the glints, and the armor it does look similar, but it's a little more pristine than it was before.
Yeah. I already know that some shit's up with May, so I already don't trust her. This is just furthering digging that distrust hole.
This is nothing against anyone. This is literally me just... Remember that. This is what is happening. Right?
Yes.
Trox and Garun, you two still do have those necklaces, however.
Yeah. Hey, Trox.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, since it seems the night's going to be calm and we could use some information, should we consult Gorox as I hold up my necklace?
Head hurt when do that.
I know, buddy, I know, but Just, we gotta get used to it, and it'll be easier every time, okay? Punching a wall. Just, you keep going at it, and eventually the wall will break, and things will be a lot easier.
Wall break in one punch.
Ah, well, this is more than just one wall. And every time we go through, we break one more.
Trox just shakes his head firmly no.
The murder fairies. If you should do it so you can become stronger.
Trox no like head hurts.
God.
Yes.
During all this time, by the way, has the mark made its presence somehow? Has it hurt me or anything? And
That's
like
right.
that?
That's right. I completely forgot about that. I actually forgot.
Thank
to
you.
put that on. As you are getting closer to this mark, the mark on the map, anyways. It's your sense of dread is kind of worsening a little bit, but not too much to the point of where it's disheartening you to go on further. However, you do feel that sinking sensation in the pit of your stomach as you're getting closer to it. The mark, however, is not itching, and other than that one time, you haven't seen any other hallucinations.
Okay.
Oh no.
Alright, the murder fairy's gonna stop. I'm gonna try and just regularly try and persuade you. Shit.
I go up to Trox and I'm like, just putting my hands up and I'm like, easy boy, easy. It's okay.
He won't
Trox.
stop talking. Trox just keeps hitting his head.
Okay. Clearly don't want to do it. I'll stop. Yeah, Caradon, you can definitely find Trox.
Caradon, no, you're just... Caradon, Trox is sitting right across from you, as you have all made camp for tonight.
Like, my arms are up and I'm just trying to, like, calm Trox down. Like, easy, it's okay. You don't have to hit yourself.
Give me an animal handling.
Oh,
Animal
no, I don't like
handling, really?
that.
That's
I don't like that
rude.
at all.
That's weird, come on.
He is, though! He is!
Oh
Trox,
my
I need... Trox! Does that calm you?
Trox slowly stops hitting his head as, like, a little bit of blood can be seen on his forehead, but there's, like, a faint steam coming up off of it.
I do want to point out, I did look this up, because I did see all this happening. I decided to look this up. Minotaurs are technically considered an animal.
That's racist.
That is racist.
I'd probably...
They are considered an animal, though.
So did I succeed or fail?
He stopped hitting his head.
So I get influence. Because I passed an animal handling check.
I feel like this
Yes.
is cheating.
It's cheating so much.
You asked me to do an animal handling, and you
But
said
that
I
is
passed.
true. But that is true.
I am an animal.
This is what you get for making me do animal handling.
I forgot about the influences.
I just
All right.
never have used it yet, so...
Yep. Okay.
Yes!
So, other than that, is there anything else really going on?
Caradon wants to do something.
I was probably patching up the bleeding spot on Trox, but other than that...
The bleeding spot is already closed up.
Caradon, you were gonna do what again?
Could you hop in the voice
Yeah.
again real quick?
Hello? Guys?
Yeah, we're waiting
Yeah.
on
We're here.
There's
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, just thought I got this I'm sorry.
Do you think we can put this a little bit later down the line, Caradon? Unless, actually, is that you? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So then, never mind. You wanted to talk to them. Go right ahead.
Yes. But real quick, I've been rolling d4s in the chat after a certain amount of time. And I don't know who knows. That's for Caradon to remember. And I got a 4. So I'm going to go up to Trox and then put the glaive in the ground. And then ask him, who is this elf person?
Elf. Nice.
Who is she?
I don't know.
No
As
one
I
has asked
ordered.
my name.
All right, elf person. What is your name?
Nace Leandris. Not that you would have heard the family name, but
No. Well, then I will ask. Rox, do you know her?
No.
I pet Trox.
Caradon, as you are actually kind of looking over with the Ironforge armor and all that, you don't exactly place it, but you do remember Artax saying something about 57 and Commander.
Then I have a few more questions. Trox, why are you allowing this strange person so close to you, so nice to you?
I pet Trox.
She nice.
Okay. For now, that's all, Trox. But what was your name? May?
May.
Do you know what happened to the Dragonborn that was?
I told you, I slept with him and he went north. I don't know where he went. I shrug.
In 30 seconds.
Didn't last too long, did he?
Well, I seem to recall something. About 5 years ago, there was a red dragonborn male and an elf woman. She was a wood elf, and she died.
My face lowers.
And after she died, the Dragonborn tried to take her stuff. And in order to convince us that he was deserving of the stuff, he said that he was her daughter.
Only Ed heard that, I thought.
Yeah, only I'd heard that.
No, I was right there. I was, like, right on top of you guys.
They were inside the bubble that Edward made.
I was right there with you guys.
I mean, if you want to for story, I don't care.
Yeah.
You can have
Yeah,
been
sure.
through a wall.
So,
It doesn't soundproof.
because I was messing with fine. But yeah, he said that he was her daughter. And one of my friends believed him. And he knew something about this Dragonborn that I didn't know. Now, you're an elf, she was an elf. There was a Dragonborn here that looked like him. He is not here anymore. And if what he said was true, and he was her daughter, I assume that he is you. Am I correct?
I'm not a wood elf.
And?
You said she was a wood elf.
Yeah? What does that have to do with anything? I don't understand. As a person.
I think you have me confused. Do you really think all Dragonborn look the same? I say, crossing my arms.
Elves.
You're an elf.
Look, I've been told that you and him are the same person by that slime man over there.
What the fuck, man?
I'm done playing around. What did you do?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Alright. It has been 5 years that I have been here. and I want to go home. I had a job to do. I did not do that job because I got taken here. Just help me see my family.
I can't do that.
Then tell me what you did so I can help myself.
I didn't do anything. I say.
What do you know?
I went to the bottom of the sea, and I was here.
Fine. I will believe you. And I will take the glaive, and I will just walk away. Find the butter.
Just, like, cuddled up besides Trox. Like, how rude.
That's all I'm gonna do for now. And I'll just, like, go.
Furious typing.
Next day then?
I guess.
Long rest in
So-
the forest influence?
As the night comes, as you all, well, is everyone done their own thing? Good,
Yeah.
happy, everyone's good, happy with their stuff.
I'm willing to do for now.
Eveline.
Yep.
Okay, so as you all subside and let the drowsiness take you all, putting this odd day behind you all, the sun comes up, beats down on some of your face. You all wake up, trying to shrug off the events of yesterday, as you are all now faced with getting to this odd person. It is about 8-ish, and from how long it's taken you to get this far, you can get there just that you'll be there within an hour or two.
Okay, I would like to expend one spell slot to just cast Mage Armor on myself.
Okay.
I always forget.
Beginning of the
Oh.
day.
Also, everyone do mark off one ration.
Oh,
Yes.
indeed.
I will mark off one deer.
It just happened. I don't have any rations. We forgot to grab some.
There should be in a
Garoon-
pack if you have.
Oh, and I do have some. I'm
Yeah, I was
good.
about to say.
Never mind.
Either way, Garoon. I was gonna say, with how you are, you could probably just like take a bunch of twigs and put them in you, and you'd be fine.
Yeah, but you
That's
know how
racist.
gross that is?
As
What? Oh, God.
as
What
you
about me?
don't, Caradon, you do mark off a ration.
Like, I don't know. All I took and put on my character sheet, because all I thought I was getting was my weapons and my armor. How many rations would I have?
Did you have a dungeoneering? Like, what was your pack?
When I first started?
Yeah.
I don't remember. I probably would assume I took dungeoneering.
Then look up the pack, and you have 9 rations. Because I remember from starting each place, each pack at least had 10. So just mark 9 at the moment.
Okay.
Fun fact, my current race actually doesn't die of old age, because when's the last time we've ever seen an ooze die of old age?
Well, it's not so much old age as, like, what all do they actually have to eat down there other than the occasional adventurer, which doesn't happen too often.
Some
Sticks.
moisture, bits of moss.
Rocks, sticks, rocks, yeah, stuff like that. So, as you all do come up to the location on the map, there's not where you would come to expect a house. Instead, there's a very elegant-looking cherry blossom-esque kind of tree, and underneath it there is a cloaked individual. If you've seen my picture, that is what he looks like. Because I actually really like that, and I just kind of set it as my thing. He's sitting under the tree. He has a book open as he's just kind of reading something from it. You're not exactly sure, as his face is covered by a plain white mask.
Oh.
Okay, first of all, Adren's like, okay, maybe Trox should stay here for a bit, alright?
Does the mask look familiar?
Yeah,
The
does it?
mask does. That is actually a good question, Caradon. The mask
Yeah.
does not look familiar.
Oh, okay, never mind.
There is not a gem socketed into the forehead.
It was worth the shot.
Evelyn, one of my old characters, he always wore a plain white mask, and around the end of the game, there was a gem that was socketed into it for his powers and stuff like that. That's what they're getting at, is were they thinking was my old character.
Okay.
But he died.
Since Artax is here.
Yeah, well, resurrecting can be a thing.
Yeah, resurrection is a thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, as you all do come to the clearing, he's just kind of sitting there. Look, you do see his head slightly tilt as he looks up at all of you, and then he looks back at his book.
Okay. So you said that it's a clearing, and I don't know, is there anything else around him, or is it just like in the middle of the woods?
It's just kind of in the middle of the woods. Like I said, it's just an elegant-looking cherry blossom with him sitting under it.
Can I walk up to him?
Right. Yeah, me and Jared apparently walk, unafraid of this.
Yeah, I'm gonna walk up and say, keep it on, mostly on the new Megan trucks.
What kind of clothes is he wearing?
Oh,
From what you can see, his cloak is covering a lot of him. The only thing that's really prominent are his hands that are sticking out, which are saddened in like what would be like black leather-ish. Yeah, like black leather. The cloak is of the same material, as he's just kind of holding the book open as he's reading it. However, the rest of him is covered with his cloak.
I like bit down and I say hello.
He looks up at you, and as he looks up at you, you kind of feel he looks over you. His eyes, not really eyes, more along the lines of slightly blue dots, just kind of looking over all of you. He looks over and he stops at Evelyn as his eyes meet where Evelyn, that symbol would have been. To everyone else, he seems to just be staring at her neck or shoulders. He nods his head as he looks back at his book.
Do I sense anything like, I don't know, do I sense anything of him? Like, do I feel threatened, or...
That is actually a good point. Actually, as you all do get within his range, you don't exactly feel threatened. In fact, Evelyn, that sense of dread that you felt is gone as you're looking over him.
Oh.
And he kind of looks at his book for a couple seconds. You see his hand come up under his mask and then back down as he's now holding a small blue piece of paper as he puts it into the little place. Closes the... Sorry, finger slipped off the button. He closes the book and then sets it down beside him as his hands do come back inside. And now he's just completely looking at all of you.
Hello.
Okay.
Greetings.
He nods his head.
Do you speak?
You see his head come down for a second. Over to the book. Then you see the cloak around him rustle a little bit as he takes out an hourglass and puts it in front of him. From looking at the hourglass, you can see a lot of the sand is at the top of it, as if it was just recently flipped over. However, as you're looking at it, the sand doesn't exactly seem to be falling.
I just got out my block of cheese, and there's a big old chunk missing out of it.
What?
Garrodon, what is this about cheese? No, I'm kidding.
Anyways, he kind of... Again, the cloak rustles a little bit as he does stand up. You see his shoulders from under his cloak kind of rock back a little bit. Greetings.
Hello.
Who might you be?
There's a long pause for a minute. My name is the Assistant.
If I may ask, who do you assist?
Again, there's a bit of a longish pause. I assist the doctor.
Oh la la.
I'm like looking at
Know
that.
why
Like,
we're here.
maybe that's what the D's for.
Ah,
I ask him, do you know why we're here?
Where the other two pauses were long and drawn out, like he was thinking about what he was saying, almost an instant later, you were here to see the doctor, of course.
Will you bring us to him?
Again, that long pause. The doctor at the moment is busy.
Hmm.
He will be available, and he looks down at the hourglass, as you do see his form kind of bend down. I should point out, his form is very slender. I forgot to mention this. He's very slender, but as he did stand up, you do see as Trux, he meets you at eye level.
Oh,
You wearing a
Okay, that was kind of an important detail to.
I back away.
Yeah, I completely forgot about that. I'm sorry. I forgot about that. I was just sitting there like, yeah, no, no, they don't.
I'm
I
like
forgot.
20
I
feet
have to
away
tell
now.
him. He does bend down and he touches the hourglass as it is now starting to fall. The sand is going quite rapidly, however, other than how it was before where it wasn't even moving. He does stand back up and you do see his form kind of slink back a little bit as the tree is I'm gonna say Garoon.
Yeah.
I'd like you to give me a perception check.
Uh,
'Cause I remember something about you, and you'd be able to see this.
hello?
Pizza.
And Garoon, you
Spaghetti.
should, right?
Did you say that?
I said, oh, you're talking. Give me 1 second, and then once you're done, Garoon, I'll tell you what you see here.
No, I'm still here. Don't worry.
Okay. So, as you kind of think for a second, and then it kind of comes to you for a second, you flip off your cybernetic eye, as suddenly, instead of seeing this large figure and this elegant cherry blossom, instead you're met with stone.
What the hell?
As you kind of look up a little bit, you now see this giant stone tower that kind of reaches up into the sky. You can't see the top because of how restricted your vision is, but you do see that it is a large tower.
Like, the rest of guys just look. Probably see Groon looking up and just going, holy shit. Where the hell?
The assistant does look over. The assistant does look over at you, and he looks over at you and he says, "You are the first one to actually ever be able to see through that."
Wait, no one else can see that?
Further backing away.
I'm just standing there waiting.
Again, there's a long pause.
I
No.
feel that I trust him, so I'm very close. Basically, I'm really interested in this.
Very impressive. How on earth did you manage to do that?
The doctor is capable of a lot of things.
Alright, I looked down the hourglass and I guess we should wait.
As you do look at the hourglass, you just see the outlaying form of it.
Well, I have biotic eye. I can see things.
Okay, yeah, no, that's you flip your biotic eye back on, and you're now met with that elegant cherry blossom and him just directly staring at you.
But I see it, but I know the lie.
Again, you are very clever. There's a long pause as he does look out over to you, May. There's nothing to be afraid of. Well, from me, anyways.
I walk further back, or further. I walk closer.
I was about to say, if you're walking further back, there's something else that's going to happen. But if you're walking closer, never mind. as you look down, as everyone's eyes kind of flick between him and the hourglass, as the hourglass starts to fall, everyone give me a basic perception check. Just basic. No problem.
May, you have advantage. Remember?
Why?
Influence.
Oh,
It doesn't matter
that's
either
okay.
way.
It was a high roll
Yeah, it
anyway.
doesn't. Yeah,
Okay.
it's 3. Eveline and just Eveline. Pass. Just waiting for the perception or jury roll. No, yeah. Pass.
I'm still shaking from yesterday.
So Eveline, you're too concerned with just this very nice-looking figure that you're not exactly sure why, but you feel calm around him. Everyone else, you notice as the hourglass is falling, you kind of look up as the sun is where it was before standing in one position is now rapidly moving across the sky as night does start to come. And about the time when the moon is directly above you, everyone else, again, where that nice cherry blossom once stood, there's now a very strong stone tower standing above you.
Yeah, see, that's what I
Nice.
saw earlier.
As everyone is now able to see the top of it, even with the cybernetic eye, you do see that at the very top, there's a slight purple glow. You're not exactly sure where it's coming from, as the tower does seem to kind of just come to a point and stop. There's nothing else really there.
I closed the engineering book and put him back. So, the doctor available now?
He reaches down, picks up the hourglass, and puts it, and you see his hand come out, pick it up, and then back into the cloak. As he looks over and up at the tower, where the other ones were longish. This one is extremely long, as if he would just as if he's trying to, stare the tower down. A couple seconds later, after a few minutes have passed, he looks back at you all. He will now see you.
Thank you.
As he holds out his hand, not really for you all to grab it. There's a small blue glow as all of you kind of feel this sinking sleep it's almost like you're being lulled into a sleep.
I don't know.
Anyone who would like to resist it, it is a constitution check.
I think elves are immune to it. Sleep.
I think they have the resistance to it.
Yeah, elves are resistant.
Okay.
You said Constitution, right?
Anyone who wants to resist it, it is a constitution save.
You said I feel calm around him, so would it make sense that I would like to resist that feeling or not?
That one's on you. Trucks, as this blue orb comes into existence, you stare at it as you feel like something should be happening, but nothing really happens. However, May and Garoon, as well as Eveline, you feel this odd, it's just kind of, you feel the sense of drowsiness come over you as you just, and suddenly black as you are passed out.
Yeah, good luck scooping up the Garoon. I need a bucket.
Yeah, how can we do this?
Magic.
JJ, are you gonna resist, or are you
No.
going to? You're not. You're just gonna let it happen.
No, I'm just gonna let it happen.
When you see the blue orb, almost an instant later, you feel sleep come over you as you are knocked out. Trox, you're the only one who is currently awake.
Looking around at the rest of them, there's a puddle of person, right?
Yeah, you definitely see some great stuff.
Where the armor of Garoon is, there is a small green puddle underneath him.
I'm gonna look at it and see what it tastes like.
Now, would that wake me
As you
up?
do this, no, it wouldn't. As you go over and you lick it, the assistant is looking at you. You can't get any emotion from him, but you can. Yeah, you can't get any emotion from him, but he is looking at you. As you lick it, it tastes a bit like metal.
Metal doesn't really taste great. I'm gonna spit him back out.
Oh god, can I
And like
please
as
get
I'm doing it, I like sneeze a bit.
Oh god, come on, that would wake me up, or at least give me a chance to wake up.
Magical.
Trox, as you spit him out and you let out that little sneak, you feel something behind you.
I'm gonna roll around and see what it is.
As you turn around, you come eye to eye with the assistant. As there's about like a couple inches of distance between you, like 5 inches about. As his hand comes up, and you feel, and his finger comes up, and it touches just right between your eyes. Trox, I need another Constitution save from you.
Damn. I was hoping I was gonna succeed.
He just simply taps, and all of a sudden, sleep. As you all come into consciousness, I need to drop your guys' tokens down. Give me 1 second.
Here's the big question. When I wake up, do I know that he's trying to lick and then spit and possibly sneezed at me?
You do not.
Wait, there's just
You
like
better
a
keep it that way.
Trox booger floating in his body, slowly being
Well,
dissolved.
no, it probably got dissolved, but like, god, that is disgusting. Because like that's one of his big things, man. Like he does not like anything like that getting inside of him.
Remember
You mean
me
Minotaur?
bullshit, so
He didn't puke. He said if I could puke, I would.
I did.
Oh, goodness. Oh, yeah, you did.
Yeah, I did. Speaking of which, Evelyn would recognize me, just
Yeah.
pointing that out.
What?
Evelyn saw
I've seen her. Actually, no, I haven't really looked at. No, I don't think that I saw your face.
me. Oh, you saw
I
the
mean-
hair.
Yeah, I mean, I just saw the overall. I don't recall. I don't think that I saw your face very clearly. But anyway,
I'm not sure if it's intended, but we can see the white void.
Again?
Whatever. It's just the white void this time.
Erase.
I honestly thought we were supposed to see all of that room when we first came into it.
What about now?
Yeah.
Nope, still see.
Shit. Oh wait, restrict
DM.
forced. Got it. Hang on 1 second.
Since we're about to have combat, now would be a great time to take a shot, right?
Yeah,
Yay!
To do what?
shots.
Okay, now it's good.
Okay, good. Okay, good. Note to self, I have to go do that on all the other things. Okay, so as you all do come back from your restful sleep, actually, surprisingly, you all do find yourself in a big-ish room. Not exactly large in size, however. But as some of you do look up, you see that this does stretch on for what seems like miles. Like you could not walk this in one day. As where there is a giant book, it is closed, sitting in front of you all. There is a small white mask sitting in front of it. Well, there are also piles of books, just about as big as Trox, just laying on the floor.
do you say that the books are as big as trucks, or the piles are as big as
The
trucks?
pile of books.
Okay.
Piles of books are big.
Very interesting.
Can I try to put this mask on?
As you pick up the mask, it kind of, the eye sockets where you would come to suspect where those little succulent little poppers that you love to munch on sometimes were. There's nothing, and then there's a slight purple glow as there are two flames that flicker. They look over at you, and then they kind of scan the room a little bit.
I'm gonna put a finger in one of them and like try to pluck it out like an eyeball, because those things are delicious.
Exactly. As you go to go put your finger in it, the finger goes through the flame, and a very silent sound comes up.
Like a cat purring. Do it again.
No, fuck you. It's just you don't exactly know where that came from, but it did come from somewhere.
We all hear that.
Yes, everyone can quite audibly hear that.
Okay.
And everyone, you do hear the familiar voice of the assistant come through. The doctor will be with you in a moment. Just feel free to peruse his book collection. And again, that same familiar purring sound does come from wherever it was again. And a voice does come up from behind it.
A small voice comes behind it?
Supposed to be too small, we can't hear it.
Yeah, indeed.
Well, I'm just going through the books.
Said it's a mask. I want to try to put on the mask. Just kind of like turn around and like place it on my muzzle.
As you do go put on the mask, it just barely goes over your nose.
Is it talking?
It purred, apparently.
Why won't it
Is
come
it-
through? Okay, there we go.
Okay.
As you do put on the mask, it just barely fits over your nose.
I leave it there.
Yeah, the assistant comes through again. Back to what I was saying before. Feel free to browse the books, and from the sound, from that small faint purr comes again, as from what you assume to be a purr, anyways, and a small voice does come up from behind it. Just don't ruin them.
I'm gonna use my mage hand to pick up anything so I don't accidentally get. Because I know I wouldn't do it, but I'm not gonna.
I am not. Ayane is also very interested in the books, but she's not touching. She's just like looking around, their heads behind her back. It's like, yeah, I'm just checking out, not touching anything. By the way, did that purring / growling sound, did that sound like threatening, or was it like a sort of, I don't know, like a little
Give
cat?
me an
that's being-
insight check.
Yes, sir. Eventually.
As you do cast your mate, actually, that's a good. That's actually. I'm glad that you cast that. I'll get that in here in a second. As you kind of listen to it a little bit, as it does happen a few more times, as everyone does touch some of the books here and there. You can't really judge if it's in pleasure or if it's in distress or if it's in distaste.
Perhaps we're not supposed to touch his books.
As you do pick up... Oh, actually, Garoon, as you go pick up one of the books with this mage hand, you focus in and you cast it. Nothing happens.
Wait, what? I try and cast mage hand again.
I cast meteor.
Nothing happens.
Okay, guys, we can't use magic here.
Do I know where that sound came from, or the person saying "don't mess them," whatever? Do you know where that came from?
Just don't mess them up. That
Yeah.
one came from below you.
Can I want to try to talk to whatever made that sound, or said that, and ask it, do you own these books?
A voice does come through. It doesn't come through loud enough for everyone to hear. Actually, however, Caradon, it comes through your own mind. Like it's one of your own thoughts. It doesn't say anything, but you get the gist of this random thought that just popped into your head of, I should wait till he's up here before I try to talk to him.
I'm not touching
Uh,
the books. I'm just looking for anything.
Give me 1 second, as I think there's someone at my door. Just give me 1 moment. Just feel free to talk amongst yourselves. And as you are all looking through the books, there's about any book that you could dream of in this collection.
Then I will search for book on.
Quick, find the porn.
Yeah.
As you do,
Books with spells, wizard books.
give me
Advanced
a.
engineering.
Actually, I'll actually tell you that here in a minute. But as you But May, as you look through this pile of books, you do see a couple private time novels,
There we go.
as well as you are able to find some. Well, from just looking around, you can't exactly find any magical books. And Garoon, I guarantee you, if you look hard enough, you could probably find some very interesting things on engineering.
Oh, I'm definitely looking for those and reading them
Be right back.
with the utmost care.
Boy.
Yo, while we have this, Caradon is going to go and look at each of you and ask for your name.
Oh, yeah, we never actually introduced. My name is Gurun.
Except for Trox.
Trox is famous.
And you heard May's name.
And what is your name? Are you human?
Who are you talking to?
Evelyn?
He is human.
Okay, what is your
Evelyn.
name?
Yeah, Evelyn gets a little bonus. Says my name is Evelyn.
Hmm. And then I go to Trox.
Chuck
Good
just
luck.
looks at you. He has a mask on his nose.
Oh,
The septum ring hangs down from below the mouth.
Yeah.
the what?
The nose ring.
Hey, big guy, what's your name?
Me, Chucks.
Trox. Okay.
Me, Trox, good to meet you, I say from the corner and giggle.
What you doing with this mask?
It look nice.
Oh, man, the DM isn't here.
I'm right here. What's up?
Oh, I wanted to inspect the mask.
As you look up at the mask, give me a perception.
Okay. Let's see. Perception. There it is. What I do?
As you look over this mask that's now on Trox's nose, you can see that it's just a human, it's like the front of a human skull.
How morbid.
Kinda, yeah.
Hmm.
As you all do look over these books, enjoying your stuff, you hear a small noise come from either one of these little black tiles over on the sides here.
Hmm.
Give me 1 second, as I have to find his token.
Whenever I get the chance, I want to go look through the books for anything on, like, I don't know, dimensions and traveling between them.
Yes. Of course you'd look for that.
Why wouldn't I look for that? God damn it.
As this noise kind of subsides, someone does step out from it, hands behind his back.
Shit.
And as you kind of think to yourself, dimensions, the voice speaks up. You're not gonna find it there.
Where will I find it?
He comes into the room, looks around a little bit. Even though his eyes are covered with a very thick-looking cloth, he looks around as he points up to about 2-3 miles up a small bookcase that stands out just a little bit more than the rest now. There, probably.
Convenient where I'm looking.
Could you get it for me? Or have someone get it for me?
I can probably get it for him.
Caradon, as you say this, his hand comes up again as there's any motions, his finger with a slight flick. A couple seconds later, you feel a thunk hit you on the head as that book is now in your hands.
Oh, thank you. I'll read this book.
I take a look over at Caradon, but I don't do anything else. I just go back to looking over Ollie's in the corner, where that book happened to come from and I missed.
I'm ignoring you for the most part.
We just hate each other, don't look at each other.
Trux, he does walk over to you, and he is directly looking at you. Again, he's meeting your eyes with how tall he is.
I look at him.
Move, please.
I stare at him.
Murder
Trunks,
Fury says move.
Hey, Trunks, there's a really interesting book about meat over here. Might like it. As I'm like desperately trying to find a book about meat.
I look at Karun and I say, he's gonna try to eat the book.
Shit.
Way to go.
Chalks looks at you expectantly.
Okay, I pull out one of my day's rations. Yep, here it is. As I hand you a day's ration. Here you go.
I eat it.
Mark off a day's rations. May, as you're standing there, you see out of the corner of your eye this tall figure walk over to this giant book that's sitting in the center. As he simply just again flicks his finger to the side, as it does fly open. The wind from the book in itself flying open kind of hits you a little bit as you are met with a dusty musk kind of smell.
I'm familiar with the smell of old books.
Yes.
But I go and stand around him, and I'm trying to see what's in this big book now. Now that my attention's been caught again.
As you look over this, you see lines of text going across. They don't seem to like stop on the page, stop at a section and then start again under. Instead, the lines of text seem to just go right across the book. And as you look over it, what languages do you speak again?
Primordial, Draconic, Sylvan, Elvish, and Common.
Jesus.
As you look over all of these, as you look over all of these lines of text, you can read some of them, and you can read some of them as they all do say the same line each time. However, the letters are jumbled up into random things. However, there is one letter, there's one word that you can make out amongst all of it, and it's void.
Oh, I'm back up against Trox.
Wait, is this the guy we were supposed to find?
What a great question to ask. Are you the doctor?
Where's the TARDIS? No.
Are we supposed to find the person?
As he looks over his shoulder at you, May, again, you don't see his eyes, but you can get this odd sensation in your mind almost that he's just glaring at you. As he does turn around, May, almost with a bit of remembrance coming from every time you kind of close your eyes and you see that image of that masked figure with the teeth jagged and dripping purple, you see his own face make said one. That is me.
Holy shit.
Yeah, for a doctor, you're kind of scary.
Yeah.
Plague doctor.
Okay. But got so many questions.
Yes.
Oh, he's actually talking as well.
Yeah, he's
running away.
he's talking. I'm sorry. What is the question? And who are you asking it to? Me or him?
No, well, I'm asking it to you initially. Okay, this is only me can see this now, right? Or not? Yes.
You can get the image in your head of him smiling. However, everyone else, this jagged smile is kind of etched into your memories now. But yeah,
I've seen.
yeah.
And he's talking to all of us or just to me?
He's talking to everyone,
Okay.
as he was also addressing May's question of, is this the doctor?
Okay.
Are you the doctor? My bad.
Doctor Who.
As well as he was also addressing that question of, is that the same guy that was in my mind to you?
Oh, you can do it.
Okay.
Now,
This is weird.
what brings you to my collection?
I like nudge Caradon.
I took my headphones off for a second. I didn't hear him.
He said, what brings you to his collection?
Do I feel anything from the brand?
Plane.
Do I feel anything from the brand, from the place where the brand is on my skin or not?
No, you actually can't.
Okay.
So May, as what were you saying, May?
I gave up here and I'm like, yes, he was just here looking for something about planes and getting back to his own worthless one.
I'd point to May and say she needs help from you. Help her. And then I go back to reading my book.
What we
Stare at him.
As
are
he does-
here for... Sorry.
Hang on one second. May, as you said this about him, he kind of steps over to Caradon. As he does, Caradon, as you go back to reading your book, you feel a small needle prick on the back of your head. Everyone else, you notice as the doctor extends one finger and pokes Caradon in the back of the head, as suddenly there's a small rush of purple energy from the back of Caradon's head, up his arm, through his shoulder, up his neck, and into his own head. I see. He takes his hand
I'm
away.
back very far away.
He takes his hand away and tilts his head. Why are you looking for a plane of existence that has been destroyed?
Oh no. Caradon does not react like that. That's just me. I'll close the book and look at him. Are you sure it's destroyed?
Again, he outstretches his hand as instead of now poking you with his nail, he's just simply touching the back of your head. And not the back of your head, the front, your forehead. As he does, you get this odd sense of information. I need a Constitution save.
Oh my goodness. Buddy.
Ooh!
Lucky.
Not really.
No,
Not
she
really.
is.
As he
Oh,
touches
shit.
your forehead, everyone else you notice as Caradon's eyes kind of roll back in his head a little bit as he is now flat on his back. You're not dead. You are not dead. You've just been too much information has been given to you at once.
So wait, it just
Hold
straight
on.
up looks to us like he poked him and now he's dead. That is what it
You
looks
straight
like.
up-
Yeah.
Everyone else you notice as he just pokes him, and instead of being dead, he's just kind of unconscious. You do see his chest rising and falling as it looks kind of like he's asleep. However, you are unconscious.
I'm
Can I make
gonna
a
start
medicine check
kicking
to-
my feet, ready to charge.
And it's like, no
Wait.
drugs, no drugs, no
Wait,
drugs,
I have a
relax.
question.
Yes.
I want to know about planar travel. The
Stop.
plane
He
of
looks at-
anger.
He looks at you, and his eye. You see a slight purple flash kind of come off of you. Yes. Okay. He kind of turns around and walks back to his book. Give me 1 second. He turns around and walks back to his book as again the pages shuffle and flip around, and then it stops. Well, that's interesting. Indeed, yes. He kind of mutters some things under his breath in different languages as you see his hands kind of come up to his own face. and he does kind of bite one of his nails, but the sound it makes is a very chalky-ish sound.
Oh yeah. I understand.
He looks back over at you, and then back at the book, and he turns around and looks at all of you. Trux, are you still kicking your feet?
Yes.
I would have tried to calm you down.
He looks over at you, and again his teeth are still kind of showing.
My teeth are showing too.
Hey, Trux. I think it would help a nice deep breath, okay? Remember, I know what I'm doing. Calm breath.
Trux, he doesn't exactly show much sign of anger. Again, he's still staring at you, and he just kind of impotent creatures. He brings his hand up and he just simply touches the air in your direction. Trux, you feel an odd sensation come from deep in your stomach up to your chest and then simply rest in your brain, as your intelligence is now 10 for the moment being.
I boop.
What? Yeah, I never wanted to.
Either way, your intelligence is still 10 at the moment. He looks at you. Now try to keep up with the conversations. Thank you.
Trux, you alright?
What just happened?
I don't know.
The strange sensation. It's
Everyone else, you're noticing as he's talking, he's actually forming words.
Cohesive.
The sentences that he's speaking are actually sentences. There's 3-syllable words in there.
There's structure.
It's weird. It actually has structure with it.
Fox looks down to me.
Yuskahum!
Yes.
Yes. That's what I've been saying.
Oh, if only I was fucking content.
Not Fox go home. We've talked about this.
Yuskahum!
I'm not.
He takes in a deep breath.
Now, as I was saying beforehand, he looks directly at you, Mac. Wanted to know more about planar travel?
Yes. Preferably not go to it right now, I say.
He walks over to you, and he rests one hand, a complete hand, on your head. And everyone else, you don't see anything initially, but a couple seconds later, you notice his maze form flickers a little bit, and then it slowly fades for a second, and then comes back to corporeal form. Then his hand comes back behind his back. Why would someone like you, with those markings and that spirit inside of you, want to go anywhere like that?
I need to see someone.
And who exactly might this be?
The one before
you
me
see,
who had these markings.
as he does say this, you see some of the pages behind him flip slightly, and some of the words on there change and move across the page to form like a small door. But nothing really anyone can be seen through or even open, actually. He reaches behind him, and his hand goes right through the book, through this door. As his hand comes back out, you see a small green lantern come up with him. It's a burnt lantern, but it has green fire flowing through it here and there. Is this who you're talking about?
I just looked down. I think you already know the answer.
You see his hand. You see his fingers move a little bit more, and the lantern disappears. Don't worry. Enough of this. What brings you here? Now.
Okay, yes. We were sent here to hopefully get your assistance with a group that call themselves the Iron Forge.
And I'm the battalion leader. I say with my chest out.
No, she's not. Well, I guess technically she is, but I don't know.
You see him look over his shoulder. Don't tell me lies. My books have no... That kind of thing is not welcome in my collection.
They believe it, do they not? Sometimes the characters don't know the truth.
So, those two finally come crawling back to me. Years I spent with them, No. This is not right. He turns around as he is facing his book.
Can I send a message to him, like the cantrip? Can I try?
I wouldn't if I were you.
As you go cast your cantrip, you see his hand behind his back slightly wave.
Okay, he's counterspelling me, the son of a bitch. Okay.
Yep.
Only a true asshole counterspells cantrips.
Okay, then I'm gonna go up to him, and I'm going to. He said this is like 5 meters tall or something, right?
He is same size as Artax, which is not Artax. Trux. Sorry. Which
10
meter thing.
Okay, so I'm going to go close, but I'm gonna go like here because I don't want the others to see, and I'm going to remove the top a little bit, my shirt a little bit, and I'm gonna show him the brand, and I'm going to have the face of why. Just this because I think that makes sense.
He's still not looking at you, but as you do kind of like pull your shirt down to show the symbol, you notice as the symbol is not there. However,
okay.
instead now where that symbol was, there's a small number. He turns around, he looks at you, and his eyes kind of scan that area, and he looks at that number a little bit, and again you see his hand come up, and he flicks to the side, and the book kind of falls directly into his hand as he with one hand flips it open, and his head turns a little bit. He closes it and then holds it, and then holds it behind him to you. He's offering this book to you, Eveline.
Okay. There's no truck over there that says candy or something, right? I mean, safe.
Nope.
Okay.
This is a book.
Okay. Does he look menacing? Does he look like he's? I don't know.
He doesn't exactly. From what you can see, his expression still has not changed. As it is again, he's just kind of staring at his own book. The words changing shapes, sizes, and changing into different languages. A couple times you can see words shift from different languages and then come into common, as it just seems like random words, but he seems to understand what's going on. As again, he's still just holding this book out to you from behind him, might I add.
Okay, then I am going to take it. I'm going to, go. Can I see the number, by the way? There, can I see what?
As you look at the number, it does add up with the same number on the book. And as you open the book, as you kind of flip through the pages, you realize that this book has your entire life history written in it. Up to the very moment in time where you are currently reading the book.
Holy.
And
This is scary.
As you get to this last page, you hear a as the book disappears back into the shelf. Information is what I strive for. And you were the best example of it. As his head does kind of slightly turn over, it doesn't look at you directly, but he's more along the lines looking at everyone from just simply turning his head. Now,
Okay.
I will ask this one last
I am
time.
slowly backing off.
Why are you here? And why do you bring those two into my head?
I think the only way we're going to get this is being exactly specific. I stepped forward.
I understand. They want me back. But this is more of a question to you. Why should I?
Very good question, I say, looking at the group.
Is anyone else going to stand forward, or?
I would, but I'm unconscious right now.
Yeah,
looks
Kieran's
like-
out.
Alright, I'm just gonna very kind of cautiously walk forward. It's like, okay, I'm not going to pretend as if I know what happened in the past between you two. The only facts I know of is that this group saved us when, at least I know when we were perhaps wrongfully imprisoned for some, perhaps rightfully,
He
but
knows that.
yeah, you're right, he does know that. I'm trying to think of something, but I'm kind of... Alright, I'm out of ideas, so it's like... I was told that in the last case ditch, I should show you this, as I show him the Ironforge badge. Don't know what
As you bring up the crest of Unity, he spins around almost as soon as it comes out of your pocket and into the open air. He spins around, and as you were about to show it to him, it's suddenly missing. As everyone else, you notice as his fingers are very rapidly tapping around the symbol. Not even his fingers, actually. It's more along the lines of his nails. And then a couple seconds later, the crest is back in your hands. It doesn't have any damage on it, but he's still just spun around. His hands, where they were behind his back, are now down at his sides. As I suspected. He again turns around, facing his book, as some of the words do come back into what all of you can understand. And you can kind of get the gist of what they're saying, but again, there's only one or two words that you can make out at a time.
Wait, hold on. Can I actually read right now?
Yeah,
You can read.
you have a little less than I do.
I need to start reading a fucking book. Holy crap. Alright, so I continue.
What badge were you looking for?
The Ironforge badge that he just showed.
Oh, I thought he
Yeah, I
meant
had
the other. I thought he meant something else.
I thought
My
that
other.
you had it on you, but
No.
Because I do have a thingy.
It's called Unity's Crest. Should be there.
Yeah, I got it in my inventory since it's given to me.
Yeah, it should just be there. As he is kind of looking at all of you again, as he's not looking at all of you, he's looking at your book. You see his hands kind of form into like fists, and you can his nails digging into his own palms. Again, you can see this purple ooze coming out from under his skin as he turns around and looks directly at you, Garoom. Do you understand where and what I've seen? Have they told you anything
They have
about
told us,
me?
No, sir.
they have told us nothing. Only your location.
He waves his hand across the room, and where before you saw books and a starry sky, now you see well, correction, where before you saw books and stone laden around the area,
Oh,
Oh boy.
you are now met with a very starry landscape. As you look down at the ground, as you do step a couple times, shifting your movement, you see almost like you're standing in water, the area around you ripple. And a voice echoes through the area. I was there when the iron forge, the burnt forge, those things, they all. As he says this, you see off in the distance, well, not really off in the distance, you see him form, slightly smaller than he was before. I felt what they felt. My own experiments. They couldn't keep me alive. They couldn't touch me. I couldn't do anything. I fell into my own plane. It was dark. It was like this. This is where I was. This is what I felt for years. Again, the voice subsides as where it was before, just one single voice, now multiple, like two. Just two voices speaking up at the same time. They summoned me from the abyss. I came back. I couldn't find where I was. I looked like this. Again, his own form flickers again slightly. Caradon, as you have come, Caradon, you are feeling all of this as where before you were unconscious. You're awake now. I should probably have pointed that out. One of them does come up from the water in front of you. As now two more appear. Four voices. The void welcomed me. It embraced me. I used it to my own vices. As again, now everyone, you feel a very intense burning sensation on your chest as all of you do now see that V with a dot embedded directly in the center of your chest.
Trox drops to the water and starts looking at putting the symbol in it, but he really wants to look at the water.
So we got symbols on us?
Burning symbols.
Yeah, it's burning.
Probably trying to get it off.
Everyone, you notice Trox does drop to the floor and he's licking the water. But everyone else, as you're just kind of frantically patting yourself, again, you notice... Yeah, again, you just get this odd sensation as you all do look up again. Another one appears. I meant to grab more, but... I experimented. I used the information that it gave me. It became what you see now. My collection forming ever so bigger. And you see his form, it's now grabbing at itself, kinda, only one hand, it's over its shoulder, and it's rubbing, it, not really, like, it's kind of just rubbing from one shoulder to the other as its head does tilt. They came. They found me. And it amused me. Yes. Pretty much.
Well then.
Sorry.
But now, in my own confines, I managed to keep myself sane. Me and Artax, we go back. not too far. But we do. He came to me. He asked me why. He is what he is. That pathetic creature. As now finally, I do get to finally bring these last three in, and I can finally get off this little bit here. He kind of straightens himself out a little bit as he is looking, as all of these forms are looking at all of you individually, by the way. Now, I ask you once again, why should I help that pathetic construct with his search for this abandoned forge that doesn't... No, it works. It works, all right. He doesn't even know what it does properly. No one does, except me. Except me. I know exactly what it does. I was at that forge. I talked with these abominations. I felt their pain, and I felt what they were. He doesn't even know what he's seeking. Much like you, looking for me.
When he says he means unity. He's referring to unity when he says he.
He's referring to Artax when he's saying.
To Artax, okay, yeah. Okay. That's a very good question, actually.
Okay, so perhaps the reason is for your own benefit, seeing as you would know how the forge works, he doesn't. So if you were there with him when they found the forge, you could perhaps see to it that it's either best used or perhaps best not used at all.
I'm gonna assume that since Caradon hasn't really been here all that long,
He's super confused.
Yeah, as he does.
fully.
I should point out, as you do come to consciousness, you are kind of updated mentally what has been going on in your unconscious days.
So I do now know what it is?
Yeah, you now know what's going on and why you're here and what brought you here.
Wait, I know like what brought me here?
You know that the conversation led you here.
Oh, to this like sorry
like-
place.
Yes.
Okay.
Not what brought you here to this dimension.
So then I'll ask out of character, what does this forge do?
I don't know.
He holds up, you see the
He said out of
northern...
character.
He said out of character.
That ruins the surprise, doesn't it?
Yeah, like
I mean, if he
we don't
doesn't
know
wanna
out of
tell-
character yet.
Oh, okay. I thought everybody else knew and I didn't.
He said that he's the only one that knows the purpose of the forge. We might have been getting to that.
Then let's get to that. Continue.
He ended on why should I help them again? And we're thinking,
Okay,
Oh yeah.
I was saying
need-
that.
okay. I would like to ask him something.
Yes.
I'm going to say, Artax obviously needs and wants your help. Is there something that you would like in return?
You see
Something that
this-
we could give you so that you could help him and us.
You see his head tilt to the side again, as now where all of the voices were talking at once, now only one talks. What would you give the man who has everything?
Nothing.
I don't really have anything that I think you want.
I'm looking into my pockets. No. Okay.
What do you want?
he has everything.
You
Would
like
you be willing to-
stories,
He
don't
sounds
you?
very angry for someone who has everything. I
Yeah.
think.
You like stories, don't you?
What did he ask? You like what?
You
like stories.
He tilts his head again. I know every story there is.
Well, you know every story that there will be. If a story isn't made, then you wouldn't learn it. If you help us with this, it sure would make for one interesting story.
You watch as he holds up a book. It's a very decadent. That's an odd. It's a very odd-looking book. It's laid with every kind of gem that you can imagine. As it flips open in front of him, he looks down at it, and then he looks up at all of you. I already know how this story will end. As again, the book closes and disappears back into the water below. I know the fates of everyone in this room.
What
Why?
about your own?
You see his form flicker for a moment as before his teeth were gritted very, like he was speaking through his teeth. For the first time since he first arrived, you see the teeth kind of disappear for a second, and you see a flash of a different person for a second, as it does kind of come back to how it was before. You see him kind of adjust himself a little bit more. This is not about me. This is not about you. This is about the Forge.
Let's make it about us. Let's mess with the story. Let's make it an interesting one. Let's make it a good read.
As you say this, hang on. Actually, I forgot. I moved everyone. I forgot to move these guys to the actual token thing. As you say this, everyone else you notice as individually. Come on. A
Yes?
couple, one, then a couple. As you kind of notice, one of them kind of falls back into the water a little bit. As again, it is only just one speaking. However, none of them really seem to be moving their lips to be speaking. You can change everything in a book. You can rewrite it. You can rewrite it. You can give it to people. You can change the actual title. You can change the words to manipulate them how you want them to sound, to how you want them to be read. Again, you notice as another one does disappear. Fate. Destiny is different. You can change it, but sometimes one change can affect everything. However, one small change can just affect a sentence, or it can affect an entire page. Again, another one disappears. My fate was written out long ago. I can't change that. But that construct, you hear a small chuckle erupt from all of the forms that are still standing. That construct is different. He never follows his own lines. His is read differently. His is read in columns, not lines. Again, you see the remaining forms take a deep breath. No, that construct knows what he's looking for. And more importantly, he knows what he needs from that forge.
And
He
what
tilts
does
his head again. He tilts his head again as the remaining 4 forms that you have been kind of directing your conversations to disappear.
And now we're alone.
Trapped in the eternal darkness.
You hear the voice echo out again. Go back to him. Tell him I will be there shortly.
Oh.
As the last thing you see before this bit, last thing after these last words echo out into the darkness, all of you roll me a perception check.
Oh, by the way, excuse me. Whenever he did that thing that made me fall, do I remember any of the stuff that overloaded my brain?
You do remember that he did show you. When you kind of think back a little bit, you do see the dimension you came from is completely gone. There's no really remains of it. Even the gods themselves have disappeared.
Okay.
As you all look around in this void, this expanse, you see something beneath you all as one final version of him comes up, not emerging from the water. It's more along the lines of still under it, but just kind of looking up at you all at your feet. I will see you all again very soon. As you all come back to consciousness, as you all do feel this odd sensation of just sleep again, you all feel, give me 1 second as I need to get to the thing.
Can I try to resist the sleep?
Because you're waking
Don't
up,
bother.
ain't you?
It's all a dream. All layers of reality are simply dreams.
As you do come back into, no, you can actually resist this one. This one is even, unless you can roll a DC higher than 30, you can't pass this.
Aha.
Also,
Let's roll in that 20.
okay,
Yes.
wanna try?
Okay.
I would really be amazed if we rolled that 20.
And now Chauncey
as-
lose your intelligence.
As everyone falls into this sleeping sensation again, you all come to a little bit later, as you're underneath that familiar cherry blossom now. All of you laying there as the assistant is again sitting there with his book in his hands, reading it.
So what?
He does. Yeah, you're all conscious. He speaks up a little bit. That went well. At least he didn't kill you like the last group.
So,
Wow.
You know what? Whatever. I think I'd like to leave now. We did our job. Let's get out of here.
Did my
I'm
intelligence
picking
go
this
back to 3?
Can we
for the
have
moment-
a break, by the way, for 5 minutes? Or something?
Yes, as you all,
Yeah.
as you all do find yourself in this again under this familiar cherry blossom. You look around as the assistant does speak up. That went well. At least he didn't kill you like the last group. You all notice that this cherry blossom isn't a cherry blossom anymore, and the assistant isn't there. Instead, you're all in your respective tents back at the Iron Forge base.
What the fuck?
What tent would I be in?
You are on your own tent amongst the rest of the recruits.
Yeah,
They're not.
okay.
Do I get a better tent?
You, May, as you come into consciousness, there's a little whisper in the back of your mind. I'll humor you just this once. As you do come into, when you do come to blinking a little bit, you realize that you are in a battalion commander tent, which is about this. That's the same look as Artax's and Cascade's tent.
Fucking nice. Alright, break time.
But yeah, no, as that does happen, everyone, this does come into a break.